What's going on YouTube? Flashy here and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Season of the Deep introduced a brand new strand aspect for each class, but one of my favorite ones has to be the Threaded Spectre for the Hunter. It's really satisfying to use, it looks sick, and it's actually not all that bad. Honestly, it was going to take a lot for me to switch off of Arc this season, but running this Strand ability focused Hunter build has been a blast over the last few days. Once you pair this with a few specific exotics, we have a serious contender for one of the most fun Hunter builds to run this season. But before we get into it, be sure to leave a like on the video. It helps out the channel a ton, and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future Destiny 2 videos here. And now to get into the build, starting with the subclass, of course, it's going to be Strand, and we're going to be grabbing the Silk Strike Super. For our abilities, actually both of these dodges work fine. I kind of switch back and forth between them for this build, so either works, but I'm currently running Marksman Dodge to reload my weapon every single time I dodge. Triple Jump for our jump. Our only melee option is going to be Threaded Spike. And then for our grenade, probably one of the best grenades in the game for easy content all the way up to endgame content, Shackle Grenades, which are going to suspend targets. Moving over to the aspects, starting with the brand new one, Threaded Spectre. Activating your class ability leaves behind a decoy woven from strand matter that draws the attention of nearby enemies.
Oh, call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me.
And then after taking significant damage or when enemies approach, the decoy detonates, dealing damage and releasing Threadling. And our second aspect will go with Widow Silk. You have an additional grenade charge. Honestly, pairing this with Shackle Grenades is just so good. It's such a nasty combo. Moving down to the fragments, first up we have Thread of Mind. Defeating suspended targets grants class ability energy, giving us those decoys back. We're going to be doing a lot of suspending and we want a lot of decoys, so this just works perfectly. Thread of Binding. Super final blows amid a suspending burst from the target, and we get a plus 10 to resilience. Thread of Continuity. Suspend, unravel, and sever effects applied to targets have increased duration, and then we get a plus 10 to strength as well. And finally, Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. So now that our subclass is all set and we're ready to pretty much evaporate everything into a bright green light show, it's time to look at the weapons that I'll be pairing with this build. Starting with our exotic primary, we're bringing back the Quicksilver Storm. Now, I haven't used this gun since last season, but I thought what better exotic to pair with a strand build than this. The grenade launcher attachment still just destroys anything it hits, and the 100 stability just feels so good with an auto rifle. Really liking this exotic gun again, so I'm pumped to bring it back into a build. For our secondary, we're going with what is probably the most used weapon in any of my build videos, and that's of course going to be Forbearance with the perk Chain Reaction. I know this is a strand build, but there's actually something pretty cool we can do with Arc and Strand this season, which we're actually going to get to in a second. And finally, for our heavy, we're going to be going with the Strand grenade launcher Caraxxus's Distress. Just a really solid grenade launcher that I like using with Quicksilver to get even more grenade launching done. And now before we get into the armor though, let's jump into the seasonal artifacts because there's a few we're definitely going to want to grab with this build. And those are going to be authorized mods Arc, Strand, and Melee, making all the energy costs of mods affecting these go from 3 down to just 1. Then we have Improved Unraveling, increases the amount of damage dealt by unraveling a target. Strand Soldier, your strand weapons gain unraveling rounds whenever you gain Woven Mail while your strand subclass is equipped. We aren't focusing on Woven Mail that much, but sometimes fire team members can give it, so we might as well just have it on just in case. And finally, Conductive Cosmic Needle, targets affected by strand debuffs take increased damage from Arc and Void abilities. Again, this is more for when you're running with a fire team or doing match-made stuff, but still really good. And now moving over to the stats, as I say in all my build videos, you definitely want to have 100 resilience, pretty much always. And then you're going to want to also focus on mobility. As a hunter, this reduces the cooldown of your class ability, reducing the cooldown of our decoy, which is what it's all about. So want to have that one up as well. And then also focusing discipline to get those shackle grenades back. And now to the armor, starting with our exotic, the 6th Coyote, which has the armor perk Double Dodge, gain a second dodge. So that's right, we can now have 2 decoys out at the same time if we wanted to. There's just such awesome synergy there, and you pair that with the double shackle grenades and you are walking into every fight, every encounter fully loaded. 2 grenades, 2 dodges, a melee, and a super. And now to go over the armor mods, starting with the helmets, we'll grab both a Strand and an Arc Siphon. Again, both of these only costing 1 because of the seasonal mods, and these are going to give us an Orb of Power on Rapid Arc or Strand Final Blows, as well as 1 copy of Dynamo, reduces super cooldown when using your class ability near targets. For the arms, we'll take 1 copy of Grenade Kickstart, giving us back grenade energy as soon as we use it. 1 copy of Focusing Strike grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee attack, and Impact Induction, causing damage with a melee attack, reduces your grenade cooldown. On our exotic chest piece, as usual, just running a reserves. We're going Strand reserves for this one, and then some energy resistances just based on whatever activity you're running at the time. For the legs, we have my go-to setup, and that's 1 copy of Absolution, reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an Orb of Power. And then the dynamic duo of Recuperation and Better Already are going to regenerate and replenish health each time an Orb of Power is picked up. And finally, for our class item, we'll go double copy of Bomber, reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability, and one copy Distribution reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. Pair all of this together and you have a near unlimited abilities Strand Hunter that's going to be decoying and suspending their way out of any situation, causing massive bright green explosions and shredding through rooms of ads with your super. Like I was saying earlier, if you're looking for a reason to play Strand Hunter, definitely mess around with this new decoy aspect. It's just been so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments if you decide to try this out and tell me what you think. If you're interested in the appearance customization I use for this build, that's on screen now if you want to screenshot it, and I'll also leave the dim link down in the description. As a reminder, be sure to check out my TikTok page, which is also linked down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.